She was fired for feeding an old veteran. But 1 hour later, 3 Marines stormed the cafe and everything changed. The door slammed open so hard, every customer jumped. 3 Marines in full dress uniform marched in, their boots hitting the floor like thunder. The manager's face turned pale. At the center table, an old man sat hunched over an empty plate, his wrinkled hands shaking. Behind the counter, Kesha Johnson stood frozen, tears in her eyes. She had just been fired. But why? What did she do wrong? Hey there! Before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories like this one. Kesha had worked at Morningside for 3 years. She always came in early, remembered every regular's name, and smiled even on her worst days. She had a soft spot for one man, Mr. Callahan, a quiet Vietnam veteran who came every Sunday. He never had much money. Most days, he could only afford coffee. Kesha knew he was struggling, so sometimes she gave him a full breakfast. Just like that, no charge. She wasn't supposed to, but her heart said it was the right thing to do. That morning, Mr. Callahan came in looking worse than usual. His hands were shaking and his voice was weak. He told her, "Sorry, I don't have enough today." Without thinking twice, Kesha made him his usual breakfast and placed it in front of him with a smile. But her manager saw it. In front of the whole cafe, he shouted, "You're done here, Kesha. Get out!" Mr. Callahan tried to speak up, but the manager didn't care. "Charity doesn't pay the bills," he snapped. Kesha's hands trembled as she took off her apron. The other customers were whispering, clearly upset. One young man in a leather jacket, a regular at the counter, pulled out his phone. "Yeah," he said quietly, "we've got a situation." Then, less than an hour later, the door flew open. The cafe went silent. 3 tall Marines walked in like they owned the room. They marched right up to Mr. Callahan and stood at attention. Sergeant Callahan, the tallest one, said loudly, "We heard there was a problem." The entire cafe froze. The manager's eyes went wide. He stammered, I didn't know, but the Marine cut him off. "You didn't ask." That's when Kesha realized Mr. Callahan wasn't just a veteran. He was a war hero, a Marine sergeant. The Marines turned to her and nodded with respect. Then Mr. Callahan stood up. His voice was calm but firm. "This young lady has shown me more respect than anyone in this place, and she got fired for it." One of the Marines looked at the manager and said, "You have 2 choices. Rehire her, or we make sure every vet in this city knows how you treat heroes." The manager opened his mouth but had no words. Finally, he sighed and said, "Okay, she's rehired." The cafe was still quiet, but now everyone was watching Kesha. She picked up her apron with shaking hands. The same people who had watched her get fired now smiled and nodded. By the end of the day, she was back behind the counter. Mr. Callahan was eating a hot meal, this time on the house. And as the Marines turned to leave, one of them looked back and said with a smile, "Semper Fi, ma'am." Kesha smiled back. That day, she didn't just get her job back. She reminded everyone that kindness matters, even when it breaks the rules. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and comment karma below, because sometimes doing the right thing changes everything.